It's time for revenge, Chiefs fans. This weekend, we take on the Eagles in a Super Bowl rematch, and today we're going to talk how the Chiefs can get the win in this one. We're going to go through my 4 keys to revenge in today's video, but here's a secret 5th one for you. Liking today's video. Don't jinx it, guys. We can't go through it again. We cannot do what happened in the Super Bowl once again, so do not be on the right side of things. Don't jinx it today. Get down there and like this video. But before we get into my keys to success, we've got to remember what went wrong in the Super Bowl. We can't move forward and grow until we realize what exactly caused us to fail. So let's look back to the Super Bowl and why the Eagles beat us. A, they won with swarming pass rush. They were after Patrick Mahomes all night long. They won the turnover battle 3-1. They won the time of possession battle by 13 minutes. That's a huge gap. They led at some points in this game 34-0 and 40-6, and they got after Mahomes all night long. 16 pressures, 11 quarterback hits, and 6 sacks. So with all that in mind, let's talk about how we can turn the tide this week, starting with turning the tables in the pass rush. They got after us in the Super Bowl. How about we get after them? Jalen Hurts is incredibly susceptible to pressure, and we didn't bring much of it at all in last year's Super Bowl. On 29 dropbacks, he saw 10 pressures, had almost 4 seconds to throw the football, 3.6. And if you're familiar with time to throw in the NFL, that is all day to sit back there and dissect the defense. If you got over 3.5 seconds, you're going to find an open receiver. It's just too hard to cover that long. And we only sacked him twice. When you look at Jalen Hurts against pressure in his career, he's disastrous. There's really no other word for these statistics. A 45% completion percentage, less than 5 yards per attempt, a 5.5% turnover-worthy play percentage, and a quarterback rating of 61.2, or a passer rating of 61.2, excuse me. That's not a quarterback rating. That's what I meant to say. That's out of 100. Passer rating is out of 158.3, and that is his passer rating when he is pressured. So if we can apply pressure in week 2 against Jalen Hurts, we know he's going to crumble like a house of cards. This has been a standard for him in his career. I'm an Oklahoma fan. I watched a lot of this guy's football when he was at Oklahoma, and this has always been an issue for him. He struggles with the pressure, and if we can get after him, we can win this football game. We can stifle Philadelphia's offense, but our own offense has to get going. That was a major issue last week. We started extremely slow. Against Philadelphia, we have to start faster. It's a key thing in this week's, in my opinion. If you look at our first half statistics last week against the Chargers, in the first half, we scored 6 points. We also had 98 yards passing. We had just 43 yards rushing. And if you add those together, that is 141 total yards of offense for the game. That's pacing you to less than 300 total yards of offense for the game, less than 200 yards passing, and less than 100 yards rushing. I think everyone who watches the show is familiar enough with football to know that those are awful offensive statistics. You cannot start this slowly. We doubled our scoring in the second half. Our offense got going, but they cannot start this way against Philadelphia. They scored 21 points in the first half last week. That's more than anybody else in the NFL. Nobody else actually scored more than 20 other than Philadelphia. They were the fastest starting offense last week. That was an issue for them last season, but it seems to be something they've gotten after and gotten better at. And if we're going to start faster this week, somebody has to step up in this receiving room. I know you guys are probably getting tired of seeing this receiving depth chart. I'm getting tired of showing it to you, but we have to keep talking about it because there are constant injuries in this room. Rashee Rice is suspended. Xavier Worthy is out, still dealing with that injury. We actually just did a short today talking about Xavier Worthy and Jalen Royals' injuries. So go and check that out if you want an update on that. But all of these guys in this room that are left, Marquise Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyquan Thornton, Nico Remigio, and Jason Brownlee all need to start to take a step. And that, in my opinion, will be a huge key to success because something that we didn't get last week was great production from Travis Kelce. He has to be a factor in this game early and often. That is another huge element to us starting quickly, is Travis Kelce being a bigger factor. In the first 3 quarters against the Chargers, just 2 targets, 1 reception, and 10 yards. He gets a 37-yard catch in the fourth quarter for a touchdown, but that was pretty much all we saw from Travis Kelce up until that point. And that is just not good enough. But speaking of things that are really good, one thing I love is hanging out with my friends and family to watch a football game. And the key to any great tailgate or watch party is excellent food. That's why I always use Omaha Steaks. Enjoy USDA certified tender steaks, juicy burgers, cozy and convenient comfort meals, plus tailgating favorites like chicken wings, smash burgers, and big deli style franks. And now, during their Red Hot Sale event, you can get 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $35 off with promo code Chiefs at checkout. These burgers are fantastic, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I've got a very high bar for burgers, and they're some of the best I've had in a very long time. They offer unrivaled quality and variety, and every bite is backed by their 100% guarantee. They're a family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry, so get fired up for fall grilling this year with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during the Red Hot Sale event. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code CHIEFS at checkout. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with promo code CHIEFS at checkout. See site for details. Back into our 4 keys to revenge. Our third key, we've got to protect Patrick Mahomes. We talked about this off the top, but one of the biggest reasons Philadelphia won the Super Bowl, one of the biggest reasons they've won all of their games over the last couple of years is getting after the quarterback. And in week 1, they were able to in the Super Bowl, I should say, they were able to notch 16 pressures, 11 QB hits, and 6 sacks of Patrick Mahomes. Like we talked about off the top, they got after him all day. And our offensive line needs to prevent that. Our offensive line needs to do a better job of protecting Mahomes and a better job of staying out of the penalties that have been such an issue for them over the last couple weeks. I'm looking at you, number 74, Jawan Taylor. We need to stay ahead of the chains. That means avoiding penalties, and we need to keep Patrick Mahomes clean. And this is not the easiest task in the world. Our offensive line is up against it. We know how good the Eagles' pass rush is. Last week against Dallas, look at these numbers. 37.1% pressure rate, 19 total pressures, and every single pressure that they got turned into a quarterback hurry. And all of those numbers are really good, and they come with a key caveat. That was without Jalen Carter. Remember, he had the whole Hawk Tua situation with Dak Prescott, got ejected from the game in the first quarter, but they don't need Jalen Carter to be a really good pass rush. I need you guys to understand that. There are some dogs on this Philadelphia defense outside of him that we have to respect. Josh Uche was number 1 last week in pass rush win rate along the edge. Nolan Smith was right in that top group as well with an over 32% pass rush win rate. Uche at over 43% pass rush win rate. Both of these guys are serious threats, and all 3 of them, Uche, Smith, and Carter, have to be accounted for if we're going to have success. And if this channel is going to have success, I need you guys to subscribe. I need you guys to join the bandwagon. Hit that sub button. Hop on. 50 people did in our last video. You could be the next member of our growing family here. So smash that subscribe button and join our team today. Lastly, we need to establish a true running game. In week 1, the bulk of our rushing yards, over 50% of our rushing yards, came via Patrick Mahomes scrambles. And I had a lot of fun watching Patrick Mahomes get out there and do his thing as a runner, getting a truck stick on a defensive back for the Chargers. That was pretty cool. I always like to see fun plays like that. But we cannot sustain that kind of rushing effort from Patrick Mahomes week over week. That cannot be the majority of our run game. We need our actual running backs to do the job they signed up to do in the NFL and carry the football. Outside of Patrick Mahomes, we had just 11 carries for 41 yards, less than 4 yards per carry, and no explosive run plays. Our longest run play outside of Mahomes was just 10 yards. Even with Mahomes involved, we only got 15. My opinion right now, we need Isaiah Pacheco, we need Kareem Hunt, and we need Brashard Smith to be significantly more involved in this run game. And there's 3 ways that we make that happen, in my opinion. Number 1, we have to start faster so you don't have to get away from it early. That goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you can start quickly, you don't fall into a hole. When you fall into a hole, you have to abandon the run game because it's not efficient enough to make up for the gap. You can't run when you are behind significantly. That was the situation we got into against the Chargers. That's why we abandoned the traditional run game. Number two, you got to win in the trenches. Maybe this is a little obvious, but look, it's hard to run the football if you're getting dominated up front. And like we've talked about, the Eagles are fantastic up front. We're going to have to win in that way. And number three, we're going to have to manipulate some linebackers with play action. We need to clear the box. We need to spread out this defense. We need to make play action passing a threat. We need to have Patrick Mahomes come off of these and hit some big shots over the top to make them respect our play action game, which further makes them respect your run game. In week one against the Chargers, we had just 9 throws off of play action for only 17 yards. That was less than 20% of everything Patrick Mahomes did. I know it's a pretty advanced statistic, but that is not good enough. We need more of that incorporated into our passing game. And once again, that goes back to starting slowly. That goes back to getting into a hole. We have to avoid these things against Philadelphia. Let me know. Who do you guys have in week 2? Are you rolling with our Chiefs? Are you rolling with me? Type Kansas City in the comments. Are you rolling with the Dirty Birds? Type Philadelphia in the comments. If for whatever reason are doing that, let me know though, and hit subscribe on today's video if you enjoyed it. I always enjoy hanging out with you guys, and we will see you next time.